Hey guys, so what we're going to do today is take a look at another progression from Troy Statina's Metal Rhythm Guitar Volume 1. And we're going to take a look at exercise 20. So go ahead, if you don't have your book, go get it, break it out, open up the page, and we're going to go ahead, dig in, and take a look. But first, let me go ahead and demo it for you so you hear what it's supposed to sound like, and then we'll kind of go from there. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you go. So there's that progression. So let's go ahead and dig in now. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to break this up. We're going to break it up into halves. Now, if you need to break it up into smaller pieces, then by all means go ahead and do that. Nothing wrong with that, and it's actually a really good thing. So you don't want to be trying to memorize the whole thing in one big shot. Just smaller sections, and then we start bringing the sections together. So we're going to actually start out with two measures, as a matter of fact. We're not even going to do the whole line at the very beginning. So the first two parts is an open A5 chord. And then we're going to go up to our 8th fret. It's also an A string type chord, but it's a fretted chord, where this is our open A5. Now this is a fretted chord on the A string. It's actually an F5. So, and what we're going to do here is these are whole notes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or sometimes I like to just count this and 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Not even say 1, the chord is 1, but whatever you want to do, it's up to you. But there's something very important that you have to keep in mind here. I'm going to bring the camera right back up here for a second. So when you're playing this, you're going from the A5 to our 8th fret. What you need to keep in mind is, again, you want to target where you're going to first. So playing this, you want to look at the 8th fret and then bring your finger towards there. You want to target where you're going and then bring your fingers towards there. And don't look away. Look at right where your target is and bring your finger over there. What you don't want to do is go like this, 2, 3, 4. Then use your fingers to try and find it, because now you're wasting time. You're bringing your fingers, looking at them, and then you got to figure out, all right, where do I stop? Where is the 8th fret? Where with this, while you're hitting that, you're looking over. Okay, where is my 8th fret? You have 4 beats to find your 8th fret. Then you stare at it. 2, 3, 4. Look, I know right where it is. Now I just got to bring my finger towards it. So that's something you want to remember, like from now till eternity, till you're not playing guitar anymore. Always target where you're going first. Don't use your fingers to find where you need to go. Otherwise, you're going to be hitting things at the wrong time. You're not going to have enough time to move from one chord to the other. So that's a really, really important thing to keep in mind and never forget. That besides slow down. Every time you have problems with anything, slow it down. So bring the camera right back down and we'll continue on here. So again, you have our A5, then we'll go into the 8th fret, which is an F. We'll just say the fret numbers. A5, 2, 3, 4, to the 8th fret. 2, 3, 4. And now what we're going to do is going to hit the 10 and 12. But these are half notes. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Or what I like to do a lot of times is you can go 10 note, 12 note. You know, the word note just gives you that second beat. So 10 note, 12 note, and then up to that point. So it's A5, 2, 3, 4, 8th fret, 2, 3, 4, 10 note, 12 note, and just repeat that over again. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 10 note, 12 note. And eventually you're going to do it where you won't even have to say the fret numbers, but at first that's a really good help. So after you play that, now you're going to have to jump back down to the 7. So going from 12 to 7. So again, hitting this. I know you can't see my head, but hitting this, look at that target, and then bring your finger down towards it. And you can practice that. 2, 3, 4. Actually, it's a 2 beats, so it's no. Even in this one too, you can practice if you want to practice going from here all the way up to the 8th fret. 2, 3, 4, look over. Do it again. 2, 3, look over. Target that, so you can practice that also. You don't always have to go through everything exactly how it is. You can turn things into little exercises and just repeat the things over and over again. Always take your weak spots, turn it into a little exercise that you're going to repeat over and over again. That's going to help you overall. So yeah, we have no, 12, no, then 7. Now, here is what we call a dotted half note. And I believe we went over this already in another lesson, but I'll review it for a second. So what a dot does is whatever the dot is connected to, it's going to be worth half the value of whatever note that is connected to. So again, let me repeat that. The dot itself is worth half the value of whatever note it's connected to. In our case, the half note is worth 2 beats. The dot is going to be worth half of that, so that means 1 beat. The dot is worth 1 beat. So the half note is worth 2 beats. The dot is worth 1 beat. So all together, a dotted half note is worth 3 beats. Now, in the book, you'll see, it's in tablature, so it's going to have 2 dots in there. A lot of times what happens is that they'll have a note, and then you'll see 1 dot in there. But we have a chord here, and it's in tablature, so there's 2 dots there. But that's called a dotted half note in this case, where you can have dotted quarter notes, dotted eighth notes, or whatever. It's always going to like a dotted quarter note. Quarter note is worth 1 beat. Remember, the dot is worth half, so half of 1 is a half a beat. So the quarter note is worth 1 beat. The dot is worth a half beat. So a dotted quarter note would be 1.5 beats altogether. So when we come to the 7, we have our note, 12, note, 7. So you gotta hold that for 3 beats. So 12, note, 7, note. 10 note, 7 note. 7, 2, 3, and then you're gonna hit the 7 again after that. But or you can actually count that. You go into 7, you can count that as 1. So 10 note, 12 note, 1, 2, 3. Now I prefer to just say 7, 2, 3 because I know what fret it is. So I'll go 10 note, 12 note, 7, 2, 3, and then the next next note is chord is going to be 7 again, our 7th fret. So we're hitting that same chord, but we're hitting it on beat 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Or again, I go 7, 2, 3, 7. So 10 note, 12 note, 7, 2, 3, 7. And then you're going to move up to the 8th fret. And then these are going to be half notes. Actually, before we do that, let's go through the whole thing. You gotta put that all together. So it's A, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 10 note, 12 note, 7, 2, 3, 7. And you would just stop there for now. One more time. A, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 10 note, 12 note, 7, 2, 3, 7. And then the second line, we're going to go up to the 8th fret. This is the beginning of the second line. And I'm going to play that twice, but they're going to be half notes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 8 note, 8 note, and then you got to jump down to the 5th fret. And that's a half note. 8 note, 8 note, 5 note. And then we're going to jump down to the 3rd fret. And this is going to be quarter notes. 3, 5. And then you go up to 7. And then that one's going to be a whole note. So it's 8 note, 8 note, 5 note, 3, 5, 7, 2, 3, 4. Again, 8 note, 8 note, 5 note, 3, 5, 7, 2, 3, 4. And then after you do that, you're going to go down, jump down to the E, open E5 chord. So our only chord on the E, which is an open E5 chord. And then we jump back to our A string fretted chords. I'm going to go 3, 2. And this is going to be a half note. So it's E note 3, 2. E note 3, 2. We add that in the mix. 8 note, 8 note, 5 note, 3, 5, 7, 2, 3, 4. E note 3, 2. Again. 8 note, 8 note, 5 note, 3, 5, 7, 2, 3, 4. E note 3, 2. Yep. And then what you do is you go through that whole thing again, but then after you get to the end, the second time through, E note 3, 2. You're gonna go to the A string power chord, and that's the very last 2 measures. You're gonna go through the first line, the second line, and then you're gonna have the repeat right there, and then after the repeat sign, there's going to be 2 more measures. That is an A5. And you see that in both measures, and there's ties between those. And that simply means you're going to hit the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you play the first note, or in this case, chord, and then you go ahead and let that ring over the amount of time to whatever that note is connected to. So in this case, it's both A5 chords, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's another measure of 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we ignored the tie, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But because there's a tie connected one to the other, you're not going to play that second one, but you're going to let it ring through that whole same amount of time. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go through this just once. Let's pretend we did one already, and then I want to demonstrate how this ending goes. So again, pretend we did one already. So let's A, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 10, no, 12, no, 7, 2, 3, 7, 8, no, 8, no, 5, no, 3, 5, 7, 2, 3, 4, E, no, 3, 2, A, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you go. So that's how you do that. All right, so this is exercise 20 for you. And so the key things to really remember here is making sure when you play something, you look and target where you're going first. You got to always remember to do that. And then in working on transitions, make sure when you're working on a couple pieces, don't just work on this and work on that part. And then, when you get to that middle part between where one connects to the other, you kind of fumble it, maybe hold something too long, or maybe you rush into it. You don't want that to happen. So what you need to do is practice those transitions. And that doesn't mean go through the whole thing of both of them to practice that little transition. Just maybe take a measure of each side, and sometimes just for the phrasing, maybe you might have to do 2 measures on one side. But generally, let's just say 1 measure of each. So you have a little bit here, a little bit of here, and then you practice that transition, making sure it's smooth. Keep doing that over and over again. And then you get a good handle of that, then maybe add in an extra measure there just so you can go ahead and try it when you're a little bit less concentrated. Because that's our goal, is first is be able to play transition well, but you need to also be able to go through that at a state of mind where you're not so focused and concentrated on it. Because that'll happen often. You'll be working on something, you'll be nailing it, and then you put it back in the context of the whole song or the whole section, and all of a sudden it keeps falling apart. It's like, what the heck's going on? I was getting it down before. Well, that's because you're jumping too far. You're adding in a whole bunch of stuff before it. So by the time you come to that spot, you're not focused on it anymore. Because, yes, you're able to get it when you were really focused and concentrated. You got to get it to where you can play the transition in a way that you're not so focused. You're just kind of more relaxed with it, and you got a really good feel for it. And the way you do that is first the transition, but then add just a little bit more, so you're a little less focused on it. Then you can add a little bit more, and then by the time you come there, you'll be even less focused on it. And usually after a couple times doing that, you got a good handle on it, and then you can try the whole thing. But it's really important. Always make sure you go back and practice those transitions. That's one of the biggest things that I see beginners mess up on. You're playing the song, and then all of a sudden transition comes on, and then it's like, oh, there's a pause or something. It kind of starts to fall apart. Then they're behind if they're playing along the backing track, and they're fiddling around trying to catch up. Yeah, focus on those transitions, and you won't do that. You'll be nailing them just left and right, just dead on. So there you go. Exercise 20 from Troy Statina's Metal Rhythm Guitar Volume 1. Work on that. Have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.